Hello, and welcome to the Freddie Mac Connect Go E Elevating the Ecosystem with eMortgage session. All lines are in listen-only mode. This session is being recorded and will be available following the conference. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. If you have any technical issues, please use the Q&A box as well, and someone will assist you. Lastly, using the handouts icon, you will find links to speaker bios and the presentation deck. With that, I will turn it over to Raj Penukonda, Product Development Director with Freddie Mac Single Family Division. Raj, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Imani. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Raj Penukonda. I lead Freddie Mac's eMortgage program. eMortgages, meaning loans with electronic notes, gained prominence in 2020 at the height of COVID-19 pandemic. Since then, several industry stakeholders have rolled out support for eMortgages. And joining us today to share their perspectives on eMortgages, we have Russell Allen, Executive Director of Mortgage Finance Operations, JP Morgan Chase, and Angie Dodson, SVP Mortgage Change Management, US Bank. Last but not least, Terry Pansing, SVP Corporate Closing, Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Thank you, Terry, Angie, and Russell for joining us and sharing your expertise. Before we begin the panel discussion, let me share some consumer and industry trends. Most of us transact digitally on a daily basis, starting from providing consent for our children to participate in school activities, electronically signing on a PIN pad at the grocery stores, obtaining auto loans, personal loans. More and more of us are becoming comfortable with the digital transactions. So it is no surprise that a recent study done by ICE Mortgage Technology shows that 70% of respondents indicated availability of electronic signing options played a major role in their decision to choose a lender. And when electronic signing options were offered, more borrowers took advantage of it this year compared to last year. And as a result, the percentage of paper-based closings has come down this year compared to last year. More lenders are meeting where their borrower is, meaning more lenders are now offering electronic closing options to their customers. And so as you can see from this slide here, despite of significant slowdown in the origination volumes from last year, more than 100 lenders have rolled out e-closing technology that includes e-notes, i.e. e-mortgages. And as more lenders join the e-mortgage ecosystem, number of lenders delivering a greater share of their business to Freddie Mac as e-mortgages is also growing. And the support from other parts of the ecosystem is growing as well. Ginnie Mae, 9 federal home loan banks, more than 40 warehouse lenders, several large aggregators, and 7 out of 10 Freddie Mac cash release exchange servicing buyers are all supporting e-notes today. And for those lenders that are looking to offer full e-closings, which require support from electronic notary and electronic recording, we have 44 states and Washington, D.C. that have already passed laws permitting remote online notarization. And we have more than 95% of the country's population that lives in a county that supports electronic recording. So with this growing support from ecosystem, I believe more and more lenders will continue to meet where their borrower is and offer electronic closing options. And accordingly, these lenders will win more of their customer business as opposed to those that are sitting on the sidelines. But that's just my take on it. Let's see what our panelists have to say. Terry, what's your take on it? And also, can you talk about why Fairway decided to roll out e-closings to its customers?
Of course. Thank you, Raj. I'm thrilled to be here today. And thank you, Freddie Mac and Freddie Mac Connect. From a lender perspective, at Fairway, eClose has become our primary driver, our North Star for a superior customer experience. We find it to be streamlined, enhanced, and we find it overall to be a better closing experience for our borrowers. eClose is fast, it's easy, it's streamlined, it's really convenient, and most importantly, it takes a lot of stress out of the closing day. At Fairway, we are a majority purchase mortgage company, and there's so many things that is going on closing day for our borrowers. There's walkthroughs, having to get to the bank, get the wire, get the kids off to school, moving trucks, all of those things that are happening in one day that can be really, really stressful in that closing process. And we really believe that eClose alleviates that by adding a lot of convenience for the borrowers to be able to review and sign the majority of their documents, even in advance of meeting with their settlement agent or notary. We find that feedback from our title partners is that they really love e-closing. Title many years ago was an obstacle, resisting the change, the technology, but we now find that they wholeheartedly embrace the process. They find that it's very transparent. They know exactly what to expect, and it cuts their signing times in half. And we find that they really love Fairway eClose files. We also find from a warehouse perspective, we're really proud of the fact that almost 100% of our warehouse partners accept eNotes. We find that it reduces time, reduces errors in post-closing, no wet signed documents to return, and eNotes deliver faster with less people and fewer errors. We're thrilled about all of the benefits that eClose brings to the various departments that are impacted here at Fairway. But most importantly, eClose has become how we close here at Fairway. More than 80% of all of our eligible transactions each month are touched by digital mortgage in some fashion of eClose, and we're very proud of that. Thanks, Raj. I'll pass it back to you.
I love what you just said, Terry, which is e-close is how we close at Fairway. In fact, that is the mantra that most successful lenders have been following, from a eMortgage rollout standpoint, meaning they make e-closing and basically that e-closing that includes electronic notes as their default closing option. So thank you for that perspective, Terry. So Russell, Terry just mentioned that eMortgages offer the potential to pay off warehouse line faster. So I'm curious as to why JP Morgan Chase decided to support eNote warehouse lending. And also, as you speak to it, can you talk about any efficiencies you realized?
Hi, Raj. Thank you for inviting me to join the panel discussion today, and thank you to Freddie Mac. Yeah, JP Morgan, we had been approached by a few of our clients early on in about 2017, middle of 2017. And we looked at the opportunity and realized how it would benefit the originators, understanding that it would impact our dwell times and profitability there. We still looked at the opportunity as something that was an industry-changing opportunity, and it was the right thing to do for the consumer. So we went full force with researching how this would need to be rolled out on our side, and took up the initiative. And we were ready to start funding eNotes at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. We were actually ready January 2020, and when everyone went home, we had 2 clients live on it, accepting eNotes for 2 of our clients. So timing couldn't have been better for us, and it has been a challenge and a learning experience here at JP Morgan. But we can definitely say that the opportunity has helped those clients and ultimately the end consumers who didn't really want to come to a closing table or be around people and minimize contact. So for that case, it was great. And obviously the conveniences are huge. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But we saw opportunities to advance our technology and actually help our clients, and that was the main driver and impetus for us. It does eliminate courier costs. So for the consumers, the expense or the potential for notes to get lost is eliminated. It also improves security around that piece for what I just said. And it does speed up the delivery of the collateral to the ultimate end investor servicer. So that, is a huge efficiency gain for anyone involved in the mortgage process. And for us, we've had to develop reporting around it, and it has improved over the years since we first rolled out. But it has been a great experience for us. And to date, I can say that we funded well over 200,000 e-notes here at JP Morgan. So I'll hand it back over to you, Raj.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you for mentioning the security of collateral, because that aspect of e-mortgages plays a significant role in improving servicing efficiencies also. As an example, the last note issue that you just mentioned, right, meaning the lack thereof, will play a major role in eliminating the need for services to prepare last note affidavits in their default servicing activities. So that's a huge efficiency play. Thank you for that perspective again, Russell. So, Angie, as the large aggregators of mortgages in the industry currently, can you share your thoughts on why US Bank decided to start purchasing e-notes, and also please touch on any efficiencies you realized?
Sure. Well, first, thanks for having me, and thanks to all my esteemed panelists here. So excited to be here to talk about E. From a U.S. Bank perspective, we certainly want to be a partner with our clients, and we had several inquiries as to if we were going to have, e-notes available for purchase, and so we had been beginning to work through the initiative both in our correspondent and our retail channels, as well as our warehouse channel. Fast forward to the pandemic, everything got expedited and escalated, and we quickly had our initiative out the door and in production. And so, again, feeling it was very important to be there for our lenders, that they needed an outlet. I think there's that kind of long, age-old question that's been out there for those of us that have been working in and around e-notes and driving towards adoption since the early days, right? What comes first, the chicken or the egg? Meaning, do the originators drive adoption because they are out there originating it and that's what the consumers demand? Or do we really need to have the aggregators, right? And because the aggregators are open for business and there's a place to sell, well, then the originators will come, kind of the, if you build it, they will come. And I think what we've discovered is it's really kind of a bit of both. We need the originators to continue originating. I think I love the story of Fairway and the opportunity that it brings to the consumer. And I think that will continue to drive adoption. And I think having more aggregators like ourselves open for business from an E perspective will help that as well. And we're certainly open to doing anything we can to help drive adoption for any of our lenders. Efficiencies, for sure. I kind of chuckle when we talk about lost notes. Anybody that's been in this space, have you ever been out dumpster diving looking for original notes? This does eliminate that need. But in all seriousness, we've actually seen in our fulfillment channel for correspondent about a 7-minute loan pickup. And in the closed loan business, that's fairly significant. So we're really excited about what we've seen, what we've been able to do with our lenders. We're working to add additional product to that, and also trying to help understand what we can do to help spread adoption and be there for any more of our partners that are ready to take the plunge and look towards adoption. So.
Yeah, thank you, Angie. Definitely, US Bank's participation as an aggregator played a significant role in the last 6 to 8 months in driving adoption further. So thank you for that. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about implementation. So let me begin with you, Angie. How did US Bank approach e-mortgage implementation? And also, as you speak to it, can you touch on any best practices for folks to be aware of?
So, first, due to our size and the many different areas that we have within the organization, we did start our research by, looking across not only internally with mortgage, so our retail, our warehouse, and our correspondent channels work together, but we looked across to our custodial partners. So looking to understand what was already out there and already available, not wanting to have to go through, vendor approvals again if we didn't have to, if there were, vendors already approved. And we got fortunate, and we do have a doc custodian in the business, and they were ahead of us. And so we got to piggyback off of quite a bit of the work that they had already been doing. So that was a big win for us. Things we also looked at were, looking at our partners with Fannie and Freddie, both organizations have, we're great partners, have subject matter experts, had folks willing to help us answer questions. We looked across the opportunity to have specific consultants in that space to help with our legal and our compliance partners. UETA and e-sign law can be a little different. It can be a little scary to your normal compliance and risk partners, and just having that little bit of additional information or insight, experience that we could provide from any of the SMEs or experts that we leveraged went a long way in helping us gain our approvals quickly. So that I would strongly recommend. And there's plenty and just actually a plethora of information out there. Just look for it. And Raj, I know you've got a lot of information to share. Mismo, MERS. If you're looking at vendors, they probably have someone that can help. So definitely take advantage of the resources that are out there. Folks should not think that they're alone. There is no reason that you have to reinvent any wheel. And the other thing that I would say is, start small. You do not have to boil the ocean. Your entire ecosystem does not have to be E. Look at the hybrid processes. Look at some of the success that others have had with that, and take baby steps. So, back.
Yeah, indeed, there is no shortage of resources that are available to help lenders that are keen on implementing eMortgage process, and Freddie Mac has a dedicated eMortgage team. And thanks for your partnership there, Angie. One thing that you said just struck with me, which is look within the company to see if other teams have already implemented the eMortgage process or eMortgage support, and take their help. And also potentially see if you can reuse the same technology. I think that's a great way to accelerate adoption or implementation. So great advice. Thank you, Angie. So Terry, several people in the industry believe that e-closings or e-mortgages are only possible on refinance transactions. I know you mentioned in your remarks earlier that you are predominantly a purchase business. So I'm curious on how Fairway approached e-mortgage rollout on purchase transactions.
I love that question, Raj, and that I really do believe that is a myth, and certainly echo so many of the points that Angela and Russell have made. For us, it really starts with showcasing the benefits of eClose as a differentiator to our loan officers in their business. We spotlight the value and the benefits and what eClose has done for our customers, especially on the purchase mortgage transactions. We work closely with our loan officers to help them set expectations early in the process about what to expect at closing for closing day and an eClose. The borrowers receive the link. They receive the link after midnight on signing day, so they're able to review and sign, preview, review, and sign those documents in advance of meeting with the settlement agent or their signing agent. And that's where it comes to help the loan officers set those expectations. But for us and our team, we have an eClose team that works very closely with our network. And it's about building the trust in the process and in a system that our network partners can rely on each and every day. Every transaction matters to them. It's a relationship. It's a builder relationship. It's a realtor relationship. It's a referral relationship, especially in this market where every transaction matters. It's being able to rely and trust on the eClose platform, the portal, and the process each and every day. And we're here to help them do that. We talked about start with your preferred title partners, or the ones that they see most commonly in their markets, borrowers that they're most comfortable with. As Angela mentioned, it doesn't have to be every single transaction. And we certainly trust the loan officers knowing their customers and when it's best and when it makes sense. We encourage them to offer eClose on every transaction that's eligible, when it's eligible, where it's eligible. And thank you, Angela, for mentioning that you're looking to add more products. The more aggregators that we have in this space, the better, more eligibility. We encourage our teams to leverage the experience in the partners like Freddie Mac as they have questions or if they run into issues. I know it was mentioned MBA and MISMO, certainly a great resource. They've really helped pioneer and pave the way for success in the eClose world. And as Angie mentioned also, start somewhere. Don't wait any longer. If you've been hesitant or apprehensive about starting an eClose, talked about starting with your partners, building, gaining knowledge, working with other departments, but starting somewhere. Whether it's on your refinance transactions or starting with one transaction or one title partner, start somewhere. And just want to encourage folks, don't wait any longer. eClose is here and borrowers are asking for it and asking about it. And the experience is a much better one from our perspective. I'll pass it back to you, Raj.
So one thing that I have noticed, Terry, is I have seen some social media posts of Fairway in which various branches have provided testimonials on their experience with the e-closing process. And clearly, they are very happy with the e-closing that you are rolled out, and they see it as a differentiator. So congratulations on the successful rollout, Terry. So, Russell, I'm sure as a e-note warehouse lender, JP Morgan Chase had to go through different challenges before rolling it out. Can you share the journey of Chase in terms of rolling out e-note warehouse lending process?
Thanks, Raj. Sure. We were the first division here at JP Morgan to actually handle and touch e-notes. And so it was quite daunting for us, having a correspondent lending division and a home lending division, also, starting to look at this about the same time. So it was paramount for us to make sure we were sharing information across all business channels that touch it or would touch it, and realizing we would be the first ones because of our client needs and the direction we were going. We made sure we stayed lockstep with information sharing and ensuring that we were making decisions that would be leveraged across all business channels for the bank. So that was key for us as we moved through the process. We actually leveraged you. I met you at a MISMO conference, and I stayed connected with you throughout the process. You were a big help for us, for me personally, and for the business and getting this off the ground. Just getting the perspectives and what you were going through with other clients helped us and helped guide us. We had to make a lot of legal changes, so that was also key, as well as technology changes. So getting an RFP for our eVault provider and looking at what options we had, and then making a decision and going with that, then developing reporting around it. So those were all major initiatives that we had to go through. In 2017, there were not a lot of people in the space, and it was very cautious and very slow process for us to get up off the ground. So it did take us a few years, but we did take our time and did it the right way, I feel. We engaged, like I said, legal, technology, other business teams here within the company that would be touching eMortgages, and made sure that we were all on the same page and staying abreast of what we were doing as we moved through the project. And then working with our clients who were already originating eNotes and determining, how we would be able to handle and deliver what investors we'd be delivering to. Was it just the agencies, Fannie, Freddie, Ginnie, or were there any private investors? So today, there are more and more investor options becoming available. And with that, we have legal challenges, but we work with each investor and work through it. So another, big thing that I've already mentioned is the reporting. We developed a lot of new reporting around eMortgages. We had to add an indicator in our client file that we get from our clients to let us know what the collateral type is. And then we track that throughout the life cycle of the loan. That tells us whether the collateral will be coming into our shop paper or electronic. And from there, we do a reconciliation daily on any electronic loan and ensure that we are placed in a controller in MERS in short order after it's registered. And we notify our clients daily. It's probably a little bit of a pain, but it helps us to ensure that we're in sync with MERS and we don't get out of sync. Yeah, I think, the biggest thing for us is the legal side of it. As you all know, the legal process does take time. And for us, it did take quite a while. So I would advise anyone who's looking at this new opportunity to get your legal contacts lined up early.
So thank you, Russell. Thank you, Terry, Angie, and Russell again for joining us and sharing your expertise. For lenders looking to implement eMortgages, Freddie Mac has put together various resources, including a 5-step implementation roadmap that can be found on the page shown on the screen here. And as you go through these resources, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to Freddie Mac eMortgage team at eMortgage_team@freddiemac.com. We have some audience questions here. Let's see. Russell, maybe this question is for you. What has been some of your obstacles as a warehouse lender to overcome as you have rolled out your capabilities?
Hi, Raj. Yes, probably the biggest one has been the investor adoption and getting more and more investors to agree to our form of Bailey. Obviously, with electronic notes and the delivery process, it's much different than paper. And with our Bailey letters, they have to be executed up front as a master document with each investor before we deliver that first e-note. And so conforming that agreement and working with the investors to agree to terms on that has been the biggest obstacle, I would say. Second has been, reconciling with MERS. And we do a really good job now, but initially it was a struggle to get to that. So I would say, those two are the biggest ones and where you need to put a lot of effort.
Thank you, Russell. The next question is for you, Angie. What do you believe to be the biggest obstacle for correspondent non-agency partners in adopting eNotes more readily?
Well, I think that we need to continue to work on more aggregators, like ourselves being open and available for sale. And I think that the more that we have available to us or to them, right, we'll have that opportunity to continue to expand from the originator's perspective, and those aggregators also expanding product. So making sure that it's we can open the doors for more than just conforming conventional, right? That other loan products have the opportunity. So I think we just need to work to continue to expand the offerings. I do think that that's the challenge, is ensuring that, if you originate a loan, it has a place to be sold. So.
Yeah, thank you, Angie. So Terry, this last question is for you. What are the major differences in your daily process when you compare eNotes to paper notes?
That's a great question, Raj. I like that. I think for us, it's simply bifurcating the process. We've found early on that very early in our process that e-notes and paper notes were delivering at exactly the same time. And that's because there was no bifurcation in the process. So I think as you get started bringing in the various stakeholders throughout our organization or your organization, right, to determine what are the differences in the various departments between paper and e, and how can you bifurcate the process. For example, when you're talking about post-closing, with an e-close, one of the big benefits is that there is no missed signatures, right? As long as the e-close was completed, there won't be any missed signatures on the documents. So it's again, having that trust and building that process and not having to continue to do the same sort of stare and compare in post-closing that you do on a paper note. So I think it's identifying, having a process, being able to bifurcate or differentiate between paper and e, and how do you handle them similarly and how do you handle them differently.
Great. Thank you so much, Terry. So thank you all for joining today's session and asking those great questions. Back to you, Imani.
Thank you for attending the Freddie Mac Connect Go E, Elevating the Ecosystem with eMortgage session. And thank you to our esteemed panelists for joining us today. Unfortunately, we were not able to get to all of your questions today. However, we will reach out to you following the conference. Your opinion is important. Please take a few moments to take our brief survey so that we can continue to bring you timely and relevant content. Furthermore, the presentation deck will be sent to you following the session. You can also log in anytime after the conference to play back this or any other session. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Well, that's a wrap on day one of Freddie Mac Connect 2023. But don't go away just yet because our networking lounges are still open. And you can also visit our sponsors in the exhibit hall. I'm Sonu Mittal, Head of Single Family Acquisitions, and I want to thank you for your time and attention today. It was a whirlwind of great content that I hope equipped you with practical insights that will make a positive impact on your business. My favorite session today, of course, was my fireside chat with Ravi Shankar and Jeff Markowitz. Shankar and I are optimistic about the future of our industry. We will weather some ups and downs, as always, but Freddie Mac will be here to partner with you in our joint mission to keep the mortgage market thriving for the benefit of the borrowers we serve. I would like to thank our partners, sponsors for their support of Connect, as well as our breakout session leaders, and especially today's guest speaker, Andrew Bush. I was captivated by Andrew's insights on the extraordinary pace of change happening in our economy and the world. His observations were incredibly practical to help us prepare our business with the innovation that can drive opportunities in this ever-changing landscape. As a preview for tomorrow, we've got another packed day with valuable content that you won't want to miss. We have two featured speakers for you in the morning. First is Sam Cater, Freddie Mac's chief economist, who'll provide the most timely and relevant economic insights available anywhere. Sam is always a crowd favorite. We are also lucky to have guest speaker Majora Carter with us. Majora is an urban revitalization expert who will open our eyes about different ways to transform low-status communities into thriving mixed-use local economies. Coming up next is an opportunity to network with your industry peers in the seller and servicer lounges. Our sponsors will also be available in the exhibit hall to showcase their offerings. One reminder that if you miss any of the sessions you wanted to watch, recordings will be available after the end of the conference and will be on our platform for a year. Don't wait that long to watch, though. This is relevant, strong content that can help your business today. We are happy to have this virtual format that allows us to provide you the flexibility of watching every session you want on your own time. With that, I'll leave you to enjoy your networking, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 11 a.m. for more of Freddie Mac Connect. Thank you, and have a good afternoon.